lights. Isn't it gorgeous?
Oh, that's lovely.
Using my iOS 10 iPhone.
Oh, you got the new one.
Yeah, with iOS 10 iPhone, yes.
So all these photos are from your iPhone?
From the iPhone.
Wow.
All of them are iPhone.
That's incredible.
I know.
Yeah, they're amazing,
but I do,
aren't
some of them are, I've done some editing, which we cover in the class. Yeah, the class about editing on here, or on the, we did a bit of editing on the Mac as well. So the photos on the Mac, yeah, but I use my phone to do that editing.
Did you always pick enhance?
No, I actually have an app that I use for these, yeah. And there's just different types of enhancement that you can choose, like a sunset versus a scenery versus a face, and it actually does this automatic enhancement.
So what are the lights? They're not
It's Field of Lights at Uluru.
So is it the
It's
chemicals
an art instalment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's been there from September and it finishes at the end of March. So it's really busy up there at the moment because everyone's trying to get up there to see it. So it's really hard to get the accommodation. But it was absolutely, so you go, the thing we booked was this sunset. So that's my husband having a glass of champagne. So you get driven to the spot, which is just near the hotel.
He looks happy.
and then you watch the sunset over Uluru from there, and then the lights kick in.
And they're
So that's
solar
just-
lights.
They are solar lights. And then so that's just before sunset, and that's just after.
Better anyway.
Hello. So you get the seat at the back. Look at this, Amanda.
Hi.
We're from St Dom's School together.
Always late.
Yes, Kevin. She's always late. Well, we haven't started. I've just been showing off my photos from the weekend.
What was the hotel you stayed at?
The Desert Gardens. Yeah. You know how has anyone been there? They've actually got the resorts are. It's called the Ayers Rock Resort, and there's 3 or 4 hotels just in a sort of loop, and so they're all run by the same company, Voyages, and so there's a shuttle bus that runs between, and you can go to any restaurant and you just give your room number and all that sort of stuff. So it's a really easy place to go, and the demographic was our age and much older. So it's a really easy place to get around.
So was it a package that the lass put together for you? Or?
No, we just booked the flights and accommodation. Then we just sort of looked at what options there were for different things we could do. So we booked 2 before we went: the Field of Lights and an afternoon trip to Uluru to sort of have a look around the rock, and then watch the sunset from a closer perspective. And then while we were there, we booked a helicopter ride and a camel ride at dawn.
How wonderful.
The camel ride at dawn, just in case you ever go, it's bloody cold in the middle at dawn.
That wasn't
So
the word you used to me.
I had my sandals on and just sort of a wrap. And it was 4 degrees. It feels like, minus something. It was so cold. It just hurt. It was beautiful. Anyway, right, let me just get this up and going, because I did a very quick presentation.
I have forgotten how I go in and make my screen stay longer.
If you want your screen to stay on, go into your, just get out of here, settings. It's actually, this is one of the things that's moved. We'll get straight into iOS 10. Hands on heads.
I'm showing you the picture of you on the camel.
Oh,
Sorry.
I didn't get to that one. I left that one out. It was really bad. Is that what I look like? They've actually moved this particular setting. What Bernadette was asking was, there's a setting that allows you to stop your device from locking, going to sleep as quickly as it normally does. So
I need to know that.
Yeah, because often people have got it set to a minute or 2 minutes. In some situations, it's just a pain in the neck. So they've moved that. It used to be in settings general, but they've moved it into display and brightness.
Oh, okay.
So under iOS 10, display and brightness. I'm just going to get this to you.
Which actually makes more sense.
And it does actually.
wonderful.
The first time I couldn't find it. I went looking for it.
How easy is that?
Yeah, so auto lock. So for me, I'm going to do that now and say never for now, and then I'll change it back when I finish. She's got to
Does
remember
it
to
eat up
change
more
it back.
battery?
It does. The display
huge
is on.
amount.
Well, the display being on is the biggest use of battery. It really is. So if you're going to leave it on, then slide up from the bottom, and you can always turn down your brightness. So the more you can turn it down, the less battery you will use.
Yeah.
And I do try to keep mine a bit lower now, because I found it was draining so quickly with the brighter screen. Yeah. Now, just go back. Right. So we might as well start from the very beginning, and we'll get to some of the other things
So that doesn't
like
come
that.
on, right? Auto-lock.
Are you on iOS 10 yet or 9?
I don't know. Yes, I'm up to date.
Are you up to date? Up to date, date?
Well, mine's
No, you're
downloaded,
not,
but
you
it's
liar.
not installed.
On iPhone,
No,
it
you're
only gives you up to
still
5
on,
minutes. It doesn't give you 10 or
Auto
15
lock. You're
minutes.
still on iOS 9. So to actually, you can have a look and see what version you're on. If you want to do a double check to see whether you
Mine's
have
downloaded,
upgraded,
but it's
go to
not
Settings,
installed yet.
General, and About. Go up to About, and that will tell you what version you are running, and it's the version, the word version, and it tells you what your current version is. So the current version is 10.0.2.
So where do I go on the version?
Settings, General,
A general.
and About. Up at the very top, you'll see About.
Yes.
Yep. So tap there, and that's also where you can go to see, you know, what your capacity is and how much space you've currently used. So who's on 10? Hands up if you're on 10.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Yep. That's all right. I mean, it doesn't matter because part of what we're doing here is to look at what has changed, so you can make a decision of whether you want to jump in and.
When I
Be
went to
brave.
updates, it said there were none available. So
Oh, what's your iPad? Oh, you've got an old one. Oh. So iOS 10 is it's time to buy a new old phone, old iPad. So iOS 10 is only available on iPad generation 3 onwards. I think that's right. And iPhone 5 onwards. So the 4s, the 4Ss, and if you've got an old 3, they can't be upgraded to iOS 10.
So how old would those iPads be?
The iPads that can't update, an iPad 2 is probably about 2010 or 11. Yeah. And one quick way of being able to tell is if you go into Settings General, well that's one way to try and do it. Settings General, but if it hasn't got Siri in the list of options for Settings General, then it's an iPad 2 because Siri wasn't available on an iPad 2. Okay, you help yourself to mince. There's some mince there. Mince. Go right. Okay, so some key changes, and one that has been driving a lot of people crazy. When you wake up your device, is it anyone who's on iOS 10, has it been driving you crazy? If you've ever had the fingerprint thing, there's all these things on it, but also you used to be able to just sort of press the button with your fingerprint and suddenly you're in. It was unlocked straight away, whereas now you press it and then you've got to press it again to unlock it. So what they've done, if I just turn this off temporarily and turn it back on, now if I press that, see how it says press home to unlock, and then I get my key. There's no swipe anymore, there's no swipe to unlock. But for me, I don't really like that because what I had, if I turn it off and back on again, I used to be able to, off, hello, off, oh, pressing the wrong button because I'm on an iPad, off, and back on. I used to be able to just press that and it would unlock. It's like, God, it's not unlocking. So you can actually change it back if you do use the fingerprint. If you've got a device that has the fingerprint sensor, there's a setting that you can change so that it works the way it used to. It doesn't really affect if you've got an older one that you had to swipe to unlock. Instead of swiping to unlock, if you haven't got the fingerprint, you've got to press the home button. When you press the home button, that's when it comes up with the lock screen. The key, the passcode screen. But if you want to have it so that just that resting your finger on it unlocks it again, you can do that by going into Settings. Is it a funny spot? Settings. Oh, there should be a general in there. Settings General and Accessibility. And in Settings General Accessibility, coming right on down towards the bottom is Home button. So if you tap that Home button, this is where you can turn on the rest finger to open. And that will work where you've got a phone with fingerprint recognition. And it's a big difference because I found now my phone isn't annoying me as much because I do my normal just press it and it unlocks, which is what I want.
The reason default slow and slowest. And
that's because you haven't got a fingerprint sensor.
I've got default.
Have you got a fingerprint sensor?
I've got a hand on it.
but obviously not.
You went into settings, accessibility home. Oh, okay. No, you haven't got it. No, that's not good. That's a square.
Mine's on default as a tick. But that's always, I don't know, that's how it was set. It was set.
Oh, that's the click speed. That's a different thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that's
fine.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
So
not.
rest
Just so that you know, that's a good point though. This has always been here. You can actually, this is more of a mobility type of thing. For some people, having to quickly click, when you do a double click or a triple click, it's a bit hard to do it fast enough if you've got the shakes or anything. And this is allowing you to slow down how quickly you do a double click. Because double click and triple click have special meanings in accessibility terms, and so this is allowing you to slow down how fast you have to click. But that was there already, not in this spot, but in a different place. But this is the one, if you've got the fingerprint sensor, that helps you take it back to the way it used to work.
So will that be there once 10 is downloaded? Will that come up with that option?
Yes, yes. You haven't got it, no. It's because it's an iOS 10 thing.
So
Absolutely.
you're saying
Yeah, that's
should
what
do
we have
slow?
got it.
Oh, mine says default.
Default, yeah, most people have it on default. But if you find that, when you do the double click, so if I do my click, and I get my task switcher, if you find that you can't seem to do that click fast enough, then it is an option to slow it down a bit. So do slow, and then you get to go click, which is a little bit easier. My button on here is not working properly. I need to get it seen to, but it's hard to do the double click quickly. So slowing it down is probably a good idea for me.
You've probably worn it out.
No, I probably dropped it.
Lynette, one thing I've found since I've run the update is when you touch the screen, it doesn't respond as fast. Like I often have to touch
Really?
it 2 or 3 times.
Yes.
And sometimes
Is
I
anyone else
touch it.
finding that?
And my girlfriend had the same problem. She took it up to Apple. They actually replaced the screen.
Well,
for
then I'd
her.
do that. I would do that. Gets you
Because
in the
it's just frustrating. Sometimes it works
Yeah.
perfectly, but a lot of the time you've got to
If
tap
it's
the second or third
I
time.
would, look, sometimes one of the things that I've had to do a couple of times is the forced reboot, where I've actually had it freeze on me. And this is these are the risks that you have with going with
Running
the new
updates,
release.
yeah.
Running the update. So if you need to just do a forced reboot, because that will actually sort of reset everything. It doesn't delete anything. It doesn't cancel anything.
Yeah.
It just sort of does a bit of a cleaning and unscrambling, technically speaking. So you hold if you're on an iPad, it's at the top, the sleep switch, or on the side for the newer ones, the sleep switch and the home button for 10 seconds. And if I do it with mine, because that's not up on the screen, if I do that, after a while you'll see the screen go black. Takes a while, so 10 seconds or so. And when the Apple button appears, I've forgotten I'm on an iPhone 7. Anyone on an iPhone 7? That's what you do on an iPhone 6S and previous.
So if I hold
On an iPhone 7, I'll do what I need to
If I do
You do
there-
that. I've got to hold my volume down with that because they've changed it. So if I do that now, and I do
so
it
it
for 10
slides the power
seconds,
off?
keep holding it until the apple appears.
Yep.
And when the apple appears, come on Apple, there it is, now it's appeared, I let go. So you keep holding on until that apple appears, and then let go. Don't wait for the slide to power off, keep holding until
Well,
it goes
I momentarily
black.
took it off.
Well, you might need to do it. If you want to do the force reboot, you've got to keep holding it
And that
until the
cleans it
apple-
up and fixes
it does a bit of a clean. And usually that will solve problems. I've had people who've had problems where they can't seem to get their data to work, or they can't seem to make calls, or I had my ability to call freeze on me, so I had to do that reboot. So there's just little things like that, and if you know what to do, that's one of the things you can do, then you're more able to take the update. The other thing to do if it's misbehaving, I've got to put my passcode in here, is sometimes it's just an app that's misbehaving. It's not the whole thing, there's just an app. So that is where you do your tap, which I can do slowly now, and swipe up the app that's misbehaving. So swipe it up to close it, and that will usually fix the problem. If that doesn't fix the problem, then you can try the force reboot. Okay? Right. So they've done a lot of changes to the lock screen. I don't think that's working. I need to do that. So from the lock screen now, they've changed all that, and you can get by having to push the home button twice if you've got the fingerprint sensor, but not everyone can do that. The lock screen now has got some features on it. Hold on again. On the lock screen now, you've got some features, which is why they want you to sort of spend some time there and have to press the home button. So these are my reminders of things I've got to do. Jenny Austin, I need to call you. Clear that.
No, you still need to. We need to
I
set
did,
up
you didn't respond. So
No,
I'm
no,
glad
no.
you're gone. I'm
No,
clearing
I'm
you.
seeing you today.
You're gone. So normally your screen looks like that.
How do you
So-
set those reminders?
Can you clean that from coming up on your lock screen?
Yes, I'll come to that.
Okay.
Yes, you can stop reminders and things coming up on your lock screen, and messages.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than everyone reading your messages. So now the lock screen. You're going to come back here. If you swipe to the left, swipe to the left. You get. If you swipe from the left to the right, you get this view. Now this view is called your today view. And the idea is it's just letting you have a quick look at some information, some app suggestions, your calendar, your, and it's hard to keep it there, calendar, your, I've got, what else have I got here? A few things, some news stories. But the idea is, this is something that you used to get by swiping down from the bottom, from the top of the screen. You know, when your screen was unlocked. So if I unlock my screen now, this view was the view you always got. When you swipe down, it had notifications and today as the option. So this is the new today screen. So nothing, it's just a new look. It hasn't changed in terms of functionality, and it lets you put widgets into this view so that you can, the idea is that you can quickly check up on stuff, check up on what you've got on, check up on the weather, check up on your stocks, all that sort of stuff. So it's all supposed to be there, see what's happening in the news in that view. So really good if you're interested in that sort of stuff, but most people probably don't use it that often. Most people I see don't use it that often. If you want to add widgets, you tap the edit, and you can, all the apps that you have on your device that have widgets are available for you to select. So you can add your own widgets. So these widgets are just things that give you a snippet of information about.
So how do you do that? If I'm on this screen here,
So we're on the
how do I go back to that?
swipe. Well, in that case, I was showing how you can get to this
Yeah.
from the lock screen by swiping from the right, left to the right. So it's the same screen. The other way you get to it from just your normal home screen or anywhere else is to swipe down from above the top of the screen, and now you swipe from left to right to
and
bring
then
it
from
up.
left
It
to
used to
right.
be on
Oh,
the
yeah,
one
okay.
screen, now it's
Yeah.
from left to right.
Okay.
So then you can add your own widgets by tapping edit, and just, you can have a play with it. Just find apps that you've got that might have something nifty that you can look at in that screen. If you like it. I actually quite like it I love my weather. I love being able to just swipe down and quickly look at my weather. And then if I want to look at more information, I can tap on it. Am I going to have to send you out?
Yes.
You two are going to be separated. Alright, so yeah, that is the today view, and then this other view is what was there before, is the notifications view.
There's a thing called Siri app suggestions that have come up in that.
Yep, there's Siri app suggestions.
what's
That
that?
used to be there, it's just that Siri has sort of been watching what you do, woo, and he's suggesting that maybe they're the apps you'd like right now, based on your typical usage.
Yeah.
She's wrong. Can I just say? I like to mix it up, so she's always wrong. So yeah, on our PowerPoint probably she's pretty right, but there, yeah, it'll just suggest apps that you might be about to select. And you can show more, so I can hit show more, show less, no, there's no show more. Oh, there we go, show more.
Why have I got all those little
So when you are
deleted
when you're in this view where you edit, the ones that have got the minuses are the
Yeah.
ones you've already got
I think.
on your screen.
Okay.
On an iPad, there's a new feature as well where you can choose which column to put your widgets in. So for me, I can choose which widgets are. These ones are currently in my left column. These ones are currently in my right column, and I could choose to put one. I can drag it using these lines into a different position. So you can customise. You can customise the view so that you see different things. So if I do a few more of those, move those around, and then say done, I will find that I've got some more in my left column, and there's the ones that are in my right column. But what I can also do, so that was moving the ones that I already have in my view. So to remove, these are the ones that I have, so I hit the minus if I don't want them anymore. And the ones that I don't have are down here, so I hit the plus to choose those ones. So that hasn't changed, that's been the same in iOS 9. It's just the columns and the views are a bit different. Now, we had the question, how do you stop things coming up on your lock screen? Because, it is a bit of a security thing that, reminders, texts, all that sort of stuff can come up on your lock screen, and it might be, someone that's seeing that you don't, seeing that information that you don't want to see it. So if I come back into my home screen, anything to do with notifications, actually I think it's moved. Hang on, into settings. If I go into my Touch ID and password, don't look. Did you see?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I got it wrong anyway.
It doesn't come up.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. I think it's down here. Yes. So in your Touch ID and passcode, or it might just say passcode if you haven't got Touch ID, this was always there as well.
Sorry, is that under general? Settings
Settings,
general?
Touch ID and passcode, or settings, passcode. At the top level, the main set of options in iOS 10, and that should have been there in iOS 9 as well. Are you looking on the left hand? Are you on your iPhone? It's the first set of options. So not first set, let me come down. You've got section 1, section 2, third section, down below general.
Oh, Touch ID, sorry, yes, and I do use that one too.
So then you've got this section here, allow access when blocked. So you can turn off certain notifications there. So that's part of the answer to the question. That's where you can turn off certain things happening on your home screen from a security perspective. But you also have in notifications the ability to choose per app what notifications appear on the lock screen.
Yeah.
So for example, if I go to messages, so for my messages, you can turn off show previews.
Yep.
And so it won't actually show the information, and you can also say don't show it on the lock screen. So when you get a message pop up in your alerts, and your alerts are different, this is jumping ahead a bit, but your alerts in iOS 10 are a bit different. Normally in iOS 9 and before, if you had a message pop up, it popped up in the middle of the screen when you were on your iPad or your iPhone. Now they're showing it here. An alert pops down and stays there until you swipe it up. A banner, which is a different style of notification, pops down and pops back up. And it's in notifications, settings notifications, that you choose for each app what style of notification you want. Do you want an alert that pops down and stays there until you swipe it up? Or do you want just a banner that pops down and disappears again? So they're all the settings. Most of this was already there. The ability to turn off your messages. I'm in the messages here, so I went into notifications and I went into messages, the messages apps settings for notifications. And if you don't want your messages appearing on your lock screen, you can turn that off. Or you can just turn off show previews.
How can you turn on alert style,
Yes.
alerts banners, and how can you just press on
You
the
just
none?
tap, so you would tap that or tap none. So if you've got some apps that are annoying you with their notifications,
Yep.
games or whatever, just tap none and you don't get those messages popping
I'm
up
doing that
on
and
your
it's
screen.
not working. Do I have to be on?
It is. It's working. See, it's circled. Banners. Mine's on banners there. So if I want alerts, I tap it. It's not very obvious, is it? It used to be more obvious.
Thank you.
So that circle is telling you what you've got selected.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whereas the others are popping down.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the difference between a banner and another?
So the banner, it actually shows you here, banner pops down and disappears within a couple of seconds. The alert pops down and you've got to swipe it up to get rid of it, yeah. So it's so that you have to actually action it before, and it's frustrating because it used to just have, okay, cancel, whatever, and it was easy to press, whereas now you've got to slide it up.
But the other one, it could flick down and off again before you've noticed it because you're doing.
Yeah, it
something
stays
else.
there for a minute, but
Oh,
you
does
tend
it?
to do that for the ones that are not highly important.
Ah.
Like I've got a Facebook message, or
Yes.
I choose that for the things that
It
I
doesn't
just want to
really
go
matter.
away quickly.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
just
you might not be looking.
Sorry,
at
just a
it.
question.
Mm.
My where I can change in that Touch ID and
Oh, right,
password,
yes.
it's not bright green, it's light green. What does that mean?
It means something's not activated there. I'll just have a quick look.
Yeah. I don't have a password activated on my
Oh,
phone.
that's why. That's why. You've got
So
the
if I
password.
want to change those,
should
do I need
have
to
one.
activate my password?
Yes, you should turn password off. Yeah, you
See,
should
I don't
always
because
turn
often
passcode
I
on.
ask my children to send a text while I'm in the car.
Yeah,
So that
I would always turn passcode on. It's very dangerous.
They remember it really fast.
Yeah. It's more for if you leave that somewhere, there's lots of stuff on your phone that is your private information that someone will get access to and can use in a bad way.
yeah.
It's like leaving your front door unlocked. It's pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
Do you get your emails on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, dangerous. But they can do password resets of all your key accounts and all sorts of things if they've got access to your mail. Okay, so lock screen. Yes, so the lock screen, we're still on that. Lock screen, it's that swipe left. Oh, I'm still doing the wrong button. You get what I'm on? So it's the swipe left for that screen. But the other change is the swipe right to get the camera, which I actually found quite useful when we were away, because on my phone I would sort of I'd turn it on quickly, swipe down, and I've got, it was better than the swipe up. You used to have a little, what it used to look like, it used to have, off there, on, you used to have a little camera that you had to swipe up, whereas this is just a more general swipe, easier swipe, and you're straight into your camera app by doing that swipe. So when your screen is locked from the lock screen, so when your screen is locked, when you've got this, I'll do it again, when you've got your lock screen, come back up, lock screen, when you turn it on, look, left will give you that screen, right to left will give you the camera. Got it? When it's in the lock screen, you know, the lock screen.
Without having to do all that, because
Is
it's
this
the
screen?
screen
That's
by
the
then
lock
or
screen.
whatever.
Swipe to the right.
Yes, exactly.
How about it's a little
When you turn it off, like you press your sleep button and not when So when you sleep, put it to sleep and wake it back up. That's your lock screen. The lock screen has got the time on it. It's got the time. It used to have slide to unlock, but it doesn't anymore. Right? And you've also from that lock screen got that swipe down to look at your notifications. But again, each of those features, the ability to swipe down to see your notifications. If you don't want that available on the lock screen, because the lock screen is supposed to be a lock screen, that you can't see important information in case someone else has got your device. So if you don't want that sort of information available, because someone could grab my iPad and they can find out all sorts of things about me. So that's what you control from that Touch ID and passcode option in settings. You can turn off the ability to have those things there. And the other thing that's a bit different is, no, I might have turned this off. Did I turn it off? I must have.
Yes, mine went off.
So the swipe up from the bottom, I probably turned that off. You can turn off the ability to get to your control centre as well from the lock screen. I must have turned that off accidentally before. But the control centre, this one that you get from swiping up from the bottom of the screen, you can have that access from the, so when you're on your lock screen, even when it's locked, you should be able to swipe up from the bottom, and they've changed the look of that particular screen. They've split it into two, where it was just one before, and they've added a bit more colour to it, so I can see how it's got colour. Colour and movement. It's great. On your phone, one of the things that's different in that is that your torch, if you've got an iPhone 6S or 6S Plus or 7, you can actually tap on that and choose the brightness of your light. I think it's a double tap. Oh, actually I don't even know what you do from the older phones, from those of you who've got the older phones. But I can go like that and I can choose how bright my light is going to be. You can. There you go. How do you do that? Did you have to just hold on or double tap?
No, it's on bright, so I just went
Just
one
tap
tap
once,
after
one
it was
tap.
on bright and went down to
Oh, it went
light.
down. Oh, that's cool. All right.
So it's
Yeah, it's a bit different on the
taps makes
7
it
and
go,
6S, but yeah. So there's a few different controls there. I think there's some others, like if I hold on my I'm showing you on that. On my camera, it gives me some camera options. Oh, I think I just put it into the night shift. I don't think I need night shift on. Night shift, that was something that came in iOS 9. It was where the screen is a different colour overnight. It's not the blue light, it's a sort of a better one that's more conducive to your sleep patterns than
And if you've got a 5, don't
It's not.
don't bother.
Oh really? It doesn't work.
On the 5.
It doesn't work?
No.
Have you got it on a schedule? Because it's on a schedule normally, so you might not have the schedule turned on.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Okay, so that is the control centre. There's a few more options on that. What else have we got there? Today view, yes, we've done that. Yes, 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 yes. Some random features. I'm just going to do some randoms here. Find my car.
Oh.
Where is my car?
Okay, here's your parked car.
How good's that?
Oh, that's
That's Siri. Just say to Siri, where's my car?
And what did she say?
And it'll tell you.
Oh, it's worth downloading just for that.
Just for that.
Yes.
Yes. That's it. Or you can say, give me directions to my car.
Getting directions to your parked car.
How does it know that?
Oh.
If
You have
you've
to
got,
type your
no,
car
it's
into Bluetooth.
Oh, your Bluetooth. So you can't. You're connected to it via Bluetooth. So the minute you turn off your car and it recognises it's no longer connected to Bluetooth,
Where
it
is
stores
my
the
car?
location. And so now I can say go, and it'll actually start giving me turn by turn
So
directions.
you've got to have Bluetooth switched
And
on
you've
your
got to unlock
phone.
your...
Yes. So you have to have your phone connected to your car using Bluetooth. So that means you've got to have a car that's got that
Oh, hang on, what
Bluetooth feature.
if you've got an old
tells me
thing that
that she
doesn't have
doesn't
that?
see-
An old car?
Yes.
Well, you're getting a new one. Stupid question.
Right. Lynette says, dear,
You replace the stereo system.
you have
We have
to use
an
Bluetooth
18-year-old
in your car?
Todago. We replaced the stereo
and your
system
Bluetooth
to
is on?
a Bluetooth stereo system.
dear.
Highbury Road, in-car audio.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to have a look. Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
cheapest option, $400 or $500.
What's that?
I like my car.
You replace the car stereo system in an old car
you
to
can-
put a Bluetooth
But you
system in.
don't actually have
What's
to
the
put it.
place called again?
Excuse me,
I-N-C-A.
you don't have to put a whole new system in. You can just get a Bluetooth adapter for your car.
Oh,
And it
yes.
puts a speaker in and all that sort of stuff. So you don't have to actually replace anything in the car. You can just add it to your car.
Right. Can you mention that on Monday night when you come into town?
Remind me.
But if you get a new system, you can put your phone hook into the car.
Yes, that's a good idea too.
Yes.
So it's much safer to drive with. You just tap and it's...
Yes. Or you use Hey Siri.
But you can't when you're driving.
Sorry, Lynette.
You can. Excuse me. I can start. Yeah, I have my phone like this, and I will say, "Hey Siri, read my texts."
Siri's ever read everyone's
You
text.
have 9 messages from Nick Colston.
You're serious? Oh
See, she reacts to your voice more than mine.
I need to just check what my daughter's in Bali. I just need to check if there's anything I had breakfast made for us in our villa.
Is that only
My children taught me.
But she won't answer the phone for you though. Like when the phone rings, you can't say, Siri, answer the phone.
Oh,
and
see,
put it on
I've got
speaker.
it in my car.
No, which I don't have.
But I can do, "Hey Siri, call Jenny Austin."
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, hang on. She's calling everyone.
Everyone's going to...
Austin.
Oh,
Mobile 03.
I should have said call Jenny Austin on her mobile.
Yes, yes.
Is that only if you have an iPhone 7 though?
iPhone 6S.
SE.
SE, yep. But also an older iPhone, if it's in the car plugged into the charger,
Yeah.
you can enable it so that it works when it's plugged into the charger. So it can, as long as the older phones are on charge and they're updated to at least iOS 9, it does work. You've got to just turn on a feature for that.
But it's got to
Very
be plugged
handy.
into the
So what
charger and
feature
the radio
do you
system,
turn
not
on
into
so I
it.
can do it?
Just as long as it's charging.
What,
Doesn't matter
what,
what.
is that right? What feature do you turn on?
The Hey Siri feature. So let's jump to that particular one because they have moved Siri. Siri all the settings to do with Siri used to be in settings general. So now they're in a separate, it's got more important, it's got its own option. So Siri, and you have allow Hey Siri. So if I turn on, sorry, now go away. And if Siri is listening all the time and waking up, put her face down.
Oh.
Put her in the corner, face down, and she stops listening.
Or close the phone?
No, but it should still work when it's asleep. Yeah, it should still work because your phone cover doesn't actually lock the screen. So it's only the
set
iPad
up
that does
so
that.
it's, you've not got it set up.
On this one, I haven't. No, because this one
Listening.
I do it on this. I don't bother on this one.
What's the difference in having Siri on and allow Hey Siri?
So going back into that. So Hey Siri, if Siri's not on, you can't use Siri. So allow Hey Siri is where you allow this feature that you can say Hey Siri.
So So
But I haven't allowed that on this because it gets very confused. They both jump. They both jump in. Hey Siri!
No, but they have to recognise your voice.
Just say Siri.
Siri must recognise.
It's a bit of fun to say "Hey Siri" every now and then. Everyone's phone.
Set up now.
I was listening to the television last night. Just had the television on, and obviously had heard something that sounded like "Hey Siri," and it suddenly woke up. Okay. So find my car, very handy. I'm not sure, we'll have to see what's gone wrong with yours. For some reason it actually just hasn't detected that it's disconnected from your Bluetooth and stored the location. It may actually be a setting that we have to look at that allows that location to be stored.
So you need Hey Siri turned on for
No, you can, Siri you can always use. Siri's available anytime if you turned it on in settings Siri, wherever it is.
Yep.
As long as it's on, then to activate Siri, you hold the home button and then you can speak. So you don't need Hey Siri to be able to use Siri.
I need to see where you've got my info.
Yes.
So I've got
Hey
no.
Siri.
What's that mean?
What have you got?
None.
Oh, so this is,
Yes.
so if you
Hey
put
Siri.
a contact record in for yourself, save them with your home address, then you can say things like, remind me when I get home to change the sheets on the spare bed.
And she knows home.
Okay, I'll remind
So as I drive up to my house, because my info contains my address, she pops up and I go, oh yeah, I've got to do that. So it's really handy. I've got to do that. Like remind me when I get to Chadstone Shopping Centre, or remind me when I get to Doncaster. And so I might have forgotten that I had that thing to get, but as soon as I hit Chadstone Shopping Centre or Doncaster, it pops up with the reminder.
So that's just from my info.
That's by making sure you've got an entry in your contacts that is you, and then telling Siri here that you select your card there. So when you tap on that, it'll bring up the contact list, it'll ask you to select yourself from the list. Or you can say, I am Lynette Colston.
You have 2 contacts named.
If you've only got one contact, that should actually set you into my info there. So you could try that, just say I am, and it should put it in there
If you
automatically.
ask to ring, you want to remind me to ring my daughter.
Yes,
And I say her name, the fact that she's in my contacts,
it's
Siri will find it.
it will find it. It can be a pain though, because when you say remind me to ring so and so,
Yes.
if it can't find that person, it won't set the reminder. It says who you're talking about.
Right.
It's good if they're in there because then when it pops up, the number's displayed and you just tap that and call. But sometimes it can be a bit of a pain when it can't work out who you're talking about.
Okay.
And it could
But
be
if
some
they're in
random.
the contacts,
They're in the contacts,
then she can find it.
It'll find it, and when it reminds you, you can tap the number.
Okay.
Yeah, very handy. What they've also done is they've allowed in iOS 10 for the removal of the standard apps. Many, not all of them, many of the standard apps. Something that a lot of people complained about was, like if you haven't got an Apple Watch, why do I have to have the Watch app? And if I haven't got, what else have they got in there? Any home automation stuff. There's a new home app, but if I haven't got that, you can now remove that app. So those standard apps that you don't want to use, a lot of people prefer to use different apps to the standard app. I tend to use a different calendar app, so I could choose to remove the standard calendar app if I wanted to.
So is the home app one if your home is automated? Is that what?
Yeah,
that is?
if you've
I
got
don't
that
know
home
what
order,
it was.
that's all new. That whole new app.
So can you take that off?
You can take that off if you don't need it, and you can get it back if you need it from the App Store. But it's just where you've got those, smart lights that hook up to your Wi-Fi network, so that you can, or heaters and that sort of stuff, where you can actually remotely turn lights on and off. And yeah, I'm a bit scared of doing that. I don't want. Don't get hacked. You'll be wrapped. Yeah. One of these days, I'll do it. The other thing,
So
now,
you can remove it. How do you actually remove it? 'Cause I've
same
got
as you've
home
always
app.
removed apps.
Okay.
Put your finger on it so it wiggles,
Yeah.
and when it wiggles, you hit the X to
Just
get
like
rid of it.
that.
Yep. The
Just like that.
just like that, it is born. But a thing I read yesterday. So I've been saying it's great. You can remove the standard apps because often if you've got not much space, then that's great because it would free up space. I read yesterday that it doesn't necessarily free up space. It gets them off your screen so they don't annoy you, but they leave the space allocated. So don't think it's going to free up your space. If that's the reason you're deleting, perhaps don't bother. one that caused me grief. There's a nice feature, sort of. There's a feature that you might have noticed that, if your phone's asleep or your iPad's asleep, actually I think it's just the phone, If you lift up your phone now, see if it happens to you, put it to sleep by pressing the sleep switch, and when you lift it, does it wake up automatically?
No.
Are you on iOS 9? This is iOS 10.
Oh.
So if you find, let's see if I can demonstrate with mine. Is it doing it for you?
Yeah.
No.
No, it didn't wake up. You still got your torch on.
Oh, sorry.
Front light. I'm feeling under the spotlight.
I wondered why it was all shiny.
No, so you have to press the button.
In settings, display and brightness. It's called raise to wake. I'm just going to turn mine back on. So if I've got my phone asleep like this and I lift it up, it wakes up. I didn't touch it. I'll put it back down. In a second it'll go to sleep, and then when I lift it up, it'll wake up.
So settings?
Settings, display and brightness on your phone. I'm talking here. I don't think it's on the iPad. It's not really relevant to the iPad. It's just the iPhone. Yep. So on the iPhone, you've got this raise to wake. Now, at first I thought, well, that's really handy actually, because when I pick it up, I'm typically wanting it to wake up. So that's actually quite good. The trouble was when we did our little trip to the Dandenongs, and so
You've been?
yeah, we went. Oh, it's gorgeous.
Was it gorgeous?
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Yes, lovely. You don't actually spend the time in your own town enough, do you, looking at these things? So, we're in the garden, so I'm wandering around talking with my phone in my hand, taking photos, and I didn't have it in a bag or, I was constantly lifting it. My phone battery just went, it just disappeared so fast, it was ridiculous. I was taking these beautiful photos, and I had 18% battery left. I thought, that's okay, we're nearly finished, we're about to go. 18% to 0, gone, and wouldn't turn back on.
Really?
Yeah. And the next day, so I charged it. Next day, I just noticed the battery's going down so fast. And so I thought, I wonder if it's to do with the raise to wake. Turned it off, problem solved. And I think it's because the display kept coming on and it was working hard. I'm flapping it around. It was working so hard, coming on and off all the time, because the display is one of the biggest users of the battery. So, doing that all the time, it was actually just draining it to death.
So if you turn it off, then how does it wake up? You have to press the home button.
The normal way, yeah, press the home. If mine's asleep now, I pick it up. The way I do it, pick it up, press the home button, and I'm straight in.
Yeah.
So I don't really need the raise to wake because I just press the
Because
home
I'm
button.
wondering why my new phone is eating more battery than my old phone did.
Have you got the raise to wake
Yeah,
on
I
that?
have.
Yeah,
So I
turn it
just
off.
I haven't got it either.
I haven't got it raised to wake on my phone every 2 or 3 days.
You are on. Do you have fingerprints? It might be here. Let's have a look. It might be. Yours is a 6 or 6S. Should be there. That's weird. I'm saying display and brightness, aren't I?
Oh,
Has anyone else not got it? It could be your Zoom, your settings. Have you got it?
no, I haven't got it.
No.
You have or haven't?
No, I haven't.
No.
Then I
It's
have
only you.
server only?
It's only you.
No, because it was my 6.
No, I've got my
It was
seven.
my 6. You got it. Yeah, that's weird. It could be the Zoom setting. You've got this set on as, can I just try something? Display Zoom. You've got it zoomed. I'm wondering if it's anything to do with it being zoomed. If I change it to standard.
you mean.
Yeah.
Mine's all zoomed.
Oh, I see.
Is yours zoomed? Oh, so it's not that. Okay, I might have to write that on the board.
Oh,
First
so
thing for the
Zoom
board.
makes it bigger.
You unlock it yet and have another look. There'll be something, so we need to check why. Race to wake.
Then we don't want it because it.
Yeah, you want to turn it off, yeah. Missing. I'll find out why that's missing in some cases. And you've definitely upgraded. You've upgraded to iOS 10. Oh, okay. So they're still? You're still there. I'll get out of that. Cancel. Yeah, no, interesting. Okay.
How do I find out what model I am? I've got to.
You're a 5S. 5S.
Next.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's why I
Yes.
on it.
Most of this should be on. Are you upgraded to iOS 10?
Yeah.
What are you missing? The raise to wake.
Yes.
Okay. Most of the other things should have been there. What else was missing?
Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
I've got it, but I haven't.
Okay, so yeah, message there. If you're wandering around with your phone in your hand, you definitely don't want that on. If you can find it on your phone, I'll see if I can work out why that's not showing. hang on, am I in the right place there? Is it raised to 1? No, I mean, it's on this one. Oh, maybe I've taken it to the wrong place, let me double check. Yeah, no, it's under auto lock. So if you've got auto lock,
1 minute.
yeah, then it just hasn't got, but it hasn't got it underneath there. Okay, all right, I'll have to have a look. Okay, we'll come back to that. Right, lift rate. You've got typing and editing stuff. I thought this was sort of interesting. You can, when you're typing something, an example that I had, if I was in an email, if I start an email here and I say, in my text here, say, I've got my predictive text bar is down the bottom because I'm using the keyboard, but the predictive text bar, my phone number is, did we do it? No, it didn't work. All right, that's not working. My email address is, no, not doing it on that, maybe because I've got it on the keyboard, but what it was doing is, if I say my phone number is, it actually displays in the predictive text my phone number, so I can just tap on that and it did it for you, yeah. So have a look, see if you say something in context, it often fills in. I am next available at, it looks at your calendar, if you're that busy that it needs to do that, and it tells you when you're next available. So it's got some smarts about that. So that's why you might sometimes see some funny things appearing in that bar. But what it'll also do is if I'm typing something like smiley, if I type smiley,
Yeah, I know.
I know. So you're sort of typing something, and suddenly these little symbols are
When you do
appearing.
love, you get little hearts.
Yeah, so if I type love, so it is cute. Oh, LOVE.
There you
And
go.
then I can tap that and put in a love.
Yeah.
So it actually saves you going to the emoji keyboard to,
Yeah, it's
to get
great.
the emoji. So that's sort of
What I
huge.
found was that it replaced the word
Yes,
with
yes.
the emoji.
That's right.
Automatically.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
It comes with
Oh, no,
I tapped it. I
No,
tapped
you
it.
know how you get around that? When it's got the predictive thing, it's got 3 things, left, middle
Yeah.
and right.
It's only if it's in the
If
middle.
you want the
yeah.
word, you've got to go tap the left.
Oh, it depends on where you work. Like it's not doing it
Sometimes.
for me because it's actually as I'm typing. If I was to say smiley, I'm in mail at the moment, and it won't actually replace that automatically. So it might have been in messages, maybe.
Yeah, messages.
Yeah, in messages.
Oh, yes,
It probably was in messages. So yeah, we can have a look at
You've
that.
got to type, sometimes you've got to type the word you want, and it will be the one that
Yes.
you're typing on the left-hand side.
Yeah,
Oh,
and so you just
okay.
tap one of the other ones if you don't. So if I who wants a text sent to them? Helen Potts, you're in front there.
Yeah.
Helen Potts, there you go. So, love from, no, I didn't change it. No. I could have tapped on it. So as I,
Oh, I did the other day for me.
I want caps. Face.
Lovely messages.
Yeah, what the hell are you talking about? We cancel what have we said there? Hopefully it's nothing bad. That one. Right, emojis in predictive text. I didn't check what we said. I hope we didn't say anything mean about anyone. Control center.
I wasn't
Right.
rude this time.
Thank God. As usual. Yeah. All right, so the next, I've already covered this one. Control center has your changes. So just in case you can't find things, there is on your phone, it's a little confusing because you're missing some things that you previously had. So if you were looking for you usually have the media controls when you swipe up in here, but they've gone. You have to swipe across to get your media controls. So if something starts suddenly playing, you go, shut up, how do I turn that off? You can swipe up, swipe across, and hit play or pause from there. Awesome. All right.
What does AirPlay mirroring mean?
AirPlay mirroring is exactly what I'm doing here. So if you look at my control center from this iPad, it's not connected to the TV, via the Wi-Fi, I am sending this screen to this screen. So it's where you've got an Apple TV. It's an Apple TV feature.
Can you change those widgets?
No, you're stuck with them.
How come yours says, oh, because it's
What does mine say?
AirPlay mirroring Lens Mac Mini.
Yeah, exactly. That's saying it's AirPlay mirroring to this computer. Yeah, so that's why it's there. All right.
So that's not how you do PowerPoint stuff. You can't use that for a PowerPoint.
You can if you've got an Apple TV.
Yeah, but if if you're doing it to a big screen.
Well, what I normally do is like a camera
Yeah, you
close,
plug
like
it
plug in. But if I have in the past though brought along an Apple TV and plugged that into the screen, and then I've sent my screen to the Apple TV, and the Apple TV is plugged into the big screen. So that it is definitely how you can do it. Yeah. So it's worth actually getting an Apple TV. Because anyone can then project the other
Just
thing.
go buy another
I'm
watch.
telling everyone else to go and buy one if you're going to use it.
I'm going to become an Apple reseller soon. Come to me and buy it. I actually have a spare one. Do you want it? We love our Apple TV. We've got the newer one, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's really good. Got the old one here somewhere. Okay, so these are boring ones. Siri is integrated with third-party apps. It's probably more if you use things like WhatsApp and Uber. So you can, say, book me an Uber, that sort of stuff. So probably not so relevant to the sort of people that I see coming to these things.
If you were doing that, would it just find the closest Uber to you? Is that how it works?
From Maps now, so cool. You can go into your Maps.
Yeah.
So if you go, what did I here? Go into your Maps. Have I got Uber on here though? If I put in an address for where I want to go, so say I want to go to Flinders Street Station. Flinders Street, yeah, and I'll go there, that'll do. And then I say I want directions there. I haven't got it on here, it's on my phone. So on my phone, I have the option to say book an Uber.
Okay.
And it'll actually
So you need to download the Uber app.
You have to have the Uber app,
Okay.
yeah. Download the Uber app to your phone. Actually, I think Uber's only available on the phone anyway, not on the iPad. So download the Uber app, and then your Maps integrates with Uber.
How good is that?
No, it's great. It can integrate with other things as well, like restaurants and book a meal and all that sort of stuff, which I think is more American stuff. But the Uber definitely works. It's great. You've also got does anyone use Viber? So Viber and apps like that are where you can use it's voice over internet. So you're talking on the phone over the internet. So the built-in app that we can do that on is FaceTime. So I've always been able to say FaceTime Meg's in Bali, FaceTime Meg Colston. We did that last night and had a lovely video chat, and she showed me the villa and everything. But now you can actually do that with other third-party apps. So you could say Skype Meg Colston and it would let you Skype. So they've actually added some phone support for all of those things.
Right.
Oh, sorry, and also what that means is in your phone setting, I just realised what I meant there, in your phone settings, your phone app, in your recents, it can integrate your recent WhatsApp messages, your recent WhatsApp calls, Skype calls, so you see them in there, not just your standard phone calls. I haven't used it yet, but allegedly that works. So if you have Viber or Skype or anything.
In my FaceTime, it's got a little one there, and I don't know how to get rid of it. So I've been into Facebook, and
Facebook or FaceTime?
FaceTime.
FaceTime. If it's FaceTime, it would be because there was a recent, so someone's recently called you. So go there, and now when you come up, it should disappear.
Now what did you tap then?
I just
Yeah, that's right. She just
it's off topic. Off topic.
Sorry, okay.
If you ever get a one on your FaceTime, so someone's accidentally FaceTimed you, you tap on it. I'll stand back so it doesn't get me. And you just, I generally tap video. This is showing the recents. So tap recent videos, recent audios, and once you've looked at them, it recognises that you've dealt with it, so it removes the one.
So as long as you tap the top.
Yeah, because it could have come in as an audio or a video, so if you tap those, that generally fixes the problem.
No.
Hello? So are you calling?
Well, we did one this morning, and
You've just done it again. That person will have a recent on theirs.
it's so easy to
It
touch
is.
it and
I know, make a call.
she'll remember it.
that was good.
And so no one's got, we've got a couple of 6S. We've got some 6S people here who are 6S or 6S plus. So you will.
Did you make that?
No, sorry.
Is that?
Because I were in the car, so I pressed the wrong button. Bye.
I don't know whether I just read myself there. if you've got a 6S, sorry people who haven't got a 6S or a 7, there's extended use of the Force Touch. So there's some really handy features in the Force Touch now. So when you tap on the phone and push, the camera and press a bit harder, you've got some options to get straight into certain things. Take a photo. One of the ones that I've used a lot, quite often you take a photo and then you want to go straight to that photo and send it, edit it, do something with it. So this is on the 6S and 7. If I tap and hold on photos, I get to see my most recent. It takes me straight to my most recent photo. It's really handy.
It doesn't work on the same.
I haven't got Force Touch, have you?
I don't, the S
Yeah.
doesn't seem to have Force Touch.
No, sorry, it's the 6S and the 7 that have the Force Touch.
Lynette, with that one, I was so magical the other day and sent a message to a friend and did something, and balloons and...
Oh, come back to all of that. I know. Go crazy.
And she said, how
We'll
did
come
you do
to
it?
messages.
And
I know.
was like,
No, I
Pass.
And I think you should be surprised with all new phones that are up to that.
I'm trying to entice you to go and get a new one.
Oh, what did you cover that? That's
Yeah, I can't. That is coming. What am I? I'm going to touch and there we go. 3D touch extended. Oh, the clock app has a bedtime feature. I don't think I'm ever going to use that, so I'll just ignore that. It can, help you get enough sleep by suggesting when you should go to bed. It's like, duh. Flashlight intensity. There's some new sounds. New lock sound, which I actually quite like. Have you heard the new lock sound? It's a bit random, but if I lock it, I've got it turned off, I think, if it's not on mute. So, turn it on. It's sort of a click, a different click. It's a bit less abrasive, I think, than the one that I used to have. New lock sound. Keyboard sounds are a bit different. That's pretty boring, really. Some random features. I've already mentioned this. The alerts come down and you have to swipe them back up. I should have just showed you when I had that voicemail message. I had to push it back up out of the way. It's a little bit annoying at times because you have to get hold of it and swipe it back up if you get an alert. If anyone needs to practice that, I'll send you a zipper. Or we'll do a voice.
Look at them. I haven't removed them since Mum.
No, that's not the same. This is where they come down from just...
No, I just did that. But
Yeah, no. What I'm talking about is if you get an alert, it's a little message that pops down from the top of the screen. That's your notification centre. It's a different thing. Interactive notifications. Oh, yes, one up to me. The interactive notifications, if you've got a new phone, when you get these notifications, you can sort of push harder and do certain things with the notifications. Reply, whatever, yes. Others can't.
Do you have a second-hand market for your obsolete things?
I was actually, someone asked me that yesterday. I actually thought I might actually propose that in the newsletter because it would be handy. People that come to me, to this place, don't tend to want to go on eBay or Gumtree and that sort of stuff. And I thought it might be handy to say, if you need a swap shop type of option, people could let me know that they've got a phone and I can advertise it and you can see if someone else... Because there's over 1,000 people on the newsletter subscription list now, so it's quite a market for if anyone wants that. Okay, so I've got to swipe, so that's not going to go away, right? So I've actually got to push it back up to get rid of it. So I've got to swipe, and now you've all got to go because it's 1 o'clock. You have to come back another time.
the balloons first.
I just
saw
the balloons first. Right, I'll let you stay a bit longer then. Now, if ever you need to set up any, this is just in settings, there's a few changes to settings. You might not need to worry about these, but if ever you need to set up a new mail account to deal with your contacts, it used to be mail, contacts and calendar as one option. They've split those out now. So just so that you're aware of that. And Siri's been moved to the top level. I've already got that. There's also a handy feature if anyone's got eyesight issues, and this would be a handy one to tell Grace about that in accessibility, by going to accessibility, there's a magnifier option. So you can turn on the magnifier, and then what I can do, if I just go down and check something first.
Is that general?
Settings, general accessibility. Sorry, I jumped a bit too quickly there. So settings, general accessibility, and it was the magnifier. I've lost it. Settings, general accessibility, the magnifier. Handy for any of us. You've got this little writing. So if you turn that on, And the other thing that you need to check is accessibility shortcut. I've got it set so that my magnifier is my accessibility shortcut. I'll tell you what I mean by that in a sec. So if you come down to that and tap on it, and make sure you tap magnifier, tick your magnifier over anything else that might be there. And then if you do click, 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 triple click, there's the magnifier, and I can actually do my slider to get in closer. So you can get in nice and close.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that handy? And you just think about...
When I get into magnifier, it just stops.
Yeah, that's okay, but we're going down to the bottom here, and it's there. So now if you go triple click, now you're in the magnifier. So if you hold it up to some text, you'll be able to read it. Make sure your colour's not grey.
I've got a big foot.
No, really, yeah.
What about if you're using an app that has really tiny print? Is there any way of zooming that?
So when you want something else,
If the app has tiny print, it depends on what the app is. You can generally increase the text size on your iPad and iPhone. But what would the app be that's got tiny print?
Yeah, I can't see.
On what, sorry?
I've got Oz weather. It's got tiny writing travel shots.
Yeah, I think it's a bit limited there unless you zoom in. I don't know whether if you adjust your standard text size, I don't think it affects that. Yeah, I think you just limit it on the screen size there, unfortunately, yeah.
Lynette,
Yes.
sorry, can you just quickly go back?
Yes, sure. So go back to what I did. So settings, I went to settings, general, so general on the left,
Yes.
and then I went to accessibility, go back a step, accessibility, and I went to magnifier,
Yes.
and turned it on.
Yes.
And then having done that, just make sure I've gone back a step, go back, so that you just at the accessibility, settings, general accessibility, down the very bottom, accessibility shortcut. What that means is when the triple click, the action of triple clicking is that is your accessibility shortcut. And what you define there is which feature you want to activate when you triple click. So if you tap on that and make sure that magnifier has got the tick, whenever you triple click, it will open the magnifier.
Right.
Triple click the home button. So click, 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 and there it is. I've got my magnifier. So now I can use that zoom. I probably can zoom using my fingers as well. I can zoom in and out. Thanks, Lynette. That's great. How's that? It's good, isn't it?
So you're impressed with this latest download now that you sorted out all the rubbish that when you first did it?
I'm still having some problems.
Oh, are you?
I've got a couple of apps that crash all the time.
Oh.
A couple of features. You know, one of the things that crashes for me is someone calls me, and if it's the first time I've spoken to them, I say from the phone app, I save their number to contacts. And when I've done that, I record a note. So I actually speak into it to record what they called me about and what they need. So I've got a record of that. It crashes every time.
Does it really?
Yeah. My business app that I do my FPOS machine thing, whenever it gets to the end of approving a transaction, it crashes. Because normally what I would do at the end of the transaction is send the receipt to the person, but it crashes every time, and then I've got to go through this whole rigmarole of getting back into it. So there's just some really annoying things like that that have a pretty big impact
On
on
you,
me,
yes,
time-wise, because I've got to then refire up the machine and then go through this process again. So
The other thing too I notice is with the photos.
yes.
It's changed things within the photo.
Well, let's have a look. We're going to get to vote. Well, we'll keep going for a bit longer.
Oh,
Does anyone need to go, or have we got to?
Shortly.
Probably go for about 10 more minutes because I've got to get some lunch before my 1:30 appointment. So we have got in mail. We've got the mail. We can always schedule another one. We can do a part 2 of this if anyone's interested in a few weeks' time. Yeah. In the mail app. So minor change, but if you swipe across, you get bin. Oh. What did I just delete? Whatever I just deleted, I need to undo. So you get bin instead of, rubbish or whatever was there before. Trash. They changed the words again. You also find though that in your view of your mailboxes, So I'm on the iPad Pro, so I've actually got 3 columns. Most iPads will only have the 2, and the iPhone, you have to go back a step to see your list of mailboxes. So when you're looking at your mailboxes, it expands out. If you've got more than one account, it expands out all the mailboxes. Only those of you who have more than one account will understand what I mean there, but you'll see they're expanded out. You don't have to tap on each one to see the details.
Now with that, my default immediately goes back to at Telstra. Now I don't use your
default when you create an email?
Yeah. So
That's
if I
in your
respond
settings.
to you,
Yeah.
if you send me an email to Big Pond,
Yes.
and I respond,
It
the
goes back
response
to
goes
Big Pond.
to my response goes to Telstra, and then it says I can't send it because it's not an
I
operating
have to have a
account.
look. That'll be whatever it's come into, it'll send it back
No,
from.
it's not. It's not doing it back from the one.
No, but that'll be your settings. If it won't send, there's a problem in your settings.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a problem in the setup that you'd have to have a look at. Has your email moved?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember Telstra did all that
Yeah,
rehassle?
we need to have a look. It'll be your settings.
Yeah,
It'll be your
okay.
settings.
You need to go into rubbish and put that thing back in there again that you did.
Was it important? Did I need to?
Well, I don't
All
know, but it
rubbish.
might have been.
Cheryl Wood. I don't think it was important.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter then.
From 717, there's nothing there, so maybe I didn't. I don't know. Oh well. Look, there's so much rubbish. All of that. Rubbish. All rubbish. I don't know who's Jenny from your next quilt. Goodness me. Someone's
I
found
don't
it.
know, I read that. It's like alpaca pillows.
Goodness
What
me.
are alpaca pillows for goodness sake?
Going to do
Fill
a
with
course
alpaca.
Anyway, so a caveat. Another one that's really handy is when you are, oh gosh, I've got to remember where it is, yeah. I'm looking at my iPad Pro here, but you'll notice when you're looking at your inbox on your iPhone or iPad, there's a new little symbol down the bottom. And what that is, if you tap on it, it's a quick way of just viewing your unread mail. And it filters out everything else, so it gives you a quick view of your unread. And you can also set it up so that shows you, how do you do it? I can't remember. You can set that up so that it can show you your flagged as well as your unread. I think it's in your settings that you set that up. So that little symbol can be set up to show, see there, that's showing my flagged as well as my unread. So flagged means they're important, I need to do something about them, but you can set it up to just show you unread if you like. The threads are much better. So you know that organised by thread, a conversation where there's been multiple emails in the one conversation. If I go through mine and see if I can find, I need to get rid of that. So an example, so obviously this person I've had a few emails with, so it actually presents it better than it used to. I usually have threads turned off, the cricket season. So it summarises each message and it's actually presented a lot better than it used to be. So if you're interested, that is better. You can turn that back on from settings mail. Yeah. The other thing I'm finding really helpful is if I've got an FPOS, so I had a receipt. So this receipt one, when I say I want to move that, usually I do it on my iPhone, I can't guarantee it'll work here. So when I get receipts from my FPOS machine, I file them straight away into a mailbox. I won't go into mailboxes here because that's the subject of another session, but moving to a mailbox is pressing that little folder up the top, and it knows that whenever a message has that subject, I normally put it into the FPOS folder. So it's been so handy, I don't have to go looking for my folder. When I get a standard type of email, it knows where I normally filed it.
How do you set that
It
up?
set it. It knows. It just knows. So because typically whenever I got this type of email, I would move it to that folder. It's remembered that for next time.
So where's that folder?
I'm not covering that. That's a whole session on how you create mailboxes.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, we
That's
do
all
that
I
in
want
the
to
mail session,
Okay.
the introduction to the iPad and iPhone. So if you look at my mail over here, I'll just cancel, I'm not doing that, move that away. Looking in my iCloud, see in my iCloud I have a heap of my own personal folders.
That's right, yeah.
They're called mailboxes. And so you can set those up and then you can file your mail into those mailboxes. So that's been there all along. I covered that in that introduction to iPad and iPhone series. And another thing that's really handy in mail is you get now this unsubscribe at the top. Really handy. So really easy to find. If it detects that it's a newsletter, unless it's the IT Coffee newsletter, you can really quickly unsubscribe from it. And also, it's really handy, and I've also got on mine, you can set up a setting in your settings mail that says don't display remote images. So what that means is, a newsletter like this, an advertising thing from Qantas, if I had that setting turned on, say don't load remote images, I wouldn't have these images shown. Because loading those images tells the person that sent me this that I've opened that email. So if you have don't load remote images, it's not going and grabbing the images from their website, and therefore they don't know you opened the email. So the likes of me
So
can
that's in
see-
settings.
That's in settings mail.
Settings mail.
Settings mail, don't load remote images. And when you have that feature set like I do on my phone, I need to set it on my iPad. So if I go into my inbox here, if I go to any of these ones that have got images, I'll show you on this one, there's like in here, there's no images shown, it's just got text. And at the very top, it says load all images. So if I've turned that off, I've said don't load remote images, at any point I can say, I can turn on that load. Do you want to have a look at that? Anyone else need to see? So at the very top, it says load all images, because I've told it not to load them
So
until
you can
I
open
say.
that Qantas thing without them knowing that you've opened it?
Yeah, so that's what I've done with this one. I'll just show
Yeah,
you.
that's fine.
So I've done this Harris Technology one is set like that. So you can see I've just got the text, but so they don't know I've read it yet. But if I say load all images, the images will come in. Did I hit it? Yeah. And now they'll know that I've read it. Yeah. If I was to tap on any links or anything, they'd know I'd read it as well. But it's the images as well that gives some information away.
But often down the bottom of the email or the ad,
It'll have unsubscribe.
or it'll have load the images.
Yes. That's usually because you've got that turned off.
Yes, but if I decide I want to.
Yeah, but now they've moved that to the top. So it's easier to find. You don't have to go all the way to the bottom to find the unsubscribe or the load images. It's actually way up the top.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
What advantage is that to not have them automatically?
It's all about
Just doing
marketing. It's all
data.
about privacy. You know, like if you don't want
right.
sites that sometimes people send you spam, and so by opening the email and it loading the image, they know that you're a valid email address, and they might keep spamming you. So it's a bit of a spam protection. Yeah, so it is a good security. And also, in addition to that, if you're on your mobile data, every time you download an image, it's data usage.
Yeah.
Images use more data than your text. So you're saving yourself unnecessary data downloads by turning that off. Only getting the images in that you really want to see.
So can I turn it on?
I would turn it off. On your mobile, definitely. You might on your computer say I don't care because I've got more internet at home, but on your mobile, when you're using mobile data, I think it's worth turning off.
Because of that.
Camera and photos. Oh, I think there's too much.
Yeah.
When